Hello everyone, this is Eric, KJ4YZI. You are watching HamRadioConcepts. You've already subscribed because you came back. And you've already had notifications on because it told you this video was live. If you don't, you're missing out. You better click subscribe and the little bell notification. Make sure you get alerted when videos like this come up. Today, I have something in my hand that's going to be a big switch for me. A switch back to RFinder. This is the new RFinder B1. And I've seen this with Bob, W2CYK from RFinder, at Orlando Hamcation last year. Bob had this before as a prototype before it was even the B1. But I think this is it. This is probably the model that's going to hit home. A 4-watt.
It's 4 watt.
DMR digital and analog dual band.
It's going to be dual band.
VHF, UHF, analog, and digital Android smartphone radio. KJ4YZI testing a new device on the 6.4 machine. Anybody around? Let's see if anybody's around the old analog.
KJ4YZI KO4AJE. John in South Indies, Murray County. Yeah, I got a good copy on you.
The thing about this radio is it uses GPS coordinates in the RFinder database to determine what repeaters are in your area within proximity of the GPS location of your radio. For instance, I drive to Nevada. The RFinder app, which is the radio app on here, is going to automatically see what's in my area, and it's going to give me the option, okay, here's your DMR, here's your UHF. You could tap on it, and it will set the radio with the frequency, the color code, the tone, the offset. You don't have to program anything. It does it over the air. I mean, through the app. That's pretty incredible. And then you can also make memories in this thing, and you can send it to the cloud so that you can download all your memories from the cloud to another device, or if you have a fleet of radios, you can send all the frequencies right to the radios. It's just amazing. If you have no idea what DMR or what I'm talking about, dual band or VHF, Eric, I want to get licensed as an amateur radio operator. I'll give you a couple words from my fine sponsors at HamRadioPrep.com.
HamRadioConcepts is brought to you in part by HamRadioPrep.com. Studying for your ham radio license is a breeze. HamRadioPrep.com.
So, as a YouTuber, I get a lot of comments and questions and emails. Eric, how do I get started in this? I got this book, or I'm having trouble, or where do I first go to get licensed as an amateur radio operator? Because before you push this button, you have to have an amateur radio license to talk. And to do that, you get study material and you learn. But at HamRadioPrep.com, I've turned a few people onto it right now. Dan, you're watching. Benjamin, you're watching. My wife is finally going to get an amateur radio license because she doesn't have to sit there with a book. Here, honey, here's the book. Although the books have worked for a lot of people for many years, man. I'm not telling you books are stupid because we all learned on books. But nowadays, amateur radio is getting huge. It's getting bigger than it's ever been. And to make it easier and not just memorize answers, but to hear some sort of narration and videos and tests and mock exams and some brain games and flashcards to make it easier to learn, HamRadioPrep.com is the place to go to get it. And I'm going to use that to get my extra and spread the word. If you use the code ERIC20, you're going to get 20% off any of the courses. And you could save 20% off with the Technician, General, and Extra Class course. And the best thing is, if you don't pass your license exam on the first try using their study material, they will pay your exam fee and give it back to you. So you're gonna pass. You're gonna talk to me one day on something like this, or HF, or my 7300, or my whatever. HamRadioPrep.com, use the code ERIC20, get 20% off. Tell your friends, a great Christmas present. Who do you know that wants to be a ham radio operator and you have no idea what to get them for Christmas? Don't buy them a laptop. Get them a ham radio operator's license because I want more hams out there. That's why I do this on YouTube. Thanks to HamRadioPrep.com for sponsoring and helping me make videos like this possible. In the meantime, thanks to Bob for getting this in my hands so I could show this B1. Let's get right into it. Typical Android, okay, I got some apps loaded on here. I don't have my SIM card in it yet, but look, I mean, I can go on YouTube on this thing. Of course, I don't have the Wi-Fi hooked up at my friend's house here, but you know, everything is here as an Android phone, okay, with settings and all this stuff. It's here, and I have yet a lot of apps to load. But watch this, the RFinder app. Now, this RFinder app is on the Play Store, okay, but you have to be a subscriber to the RFinder app. Now, what you're doing is you're paying for. You can download the app for free and not use the radio portion, I guess, but the radio portion of this, is worth paying for because, again, you don't have to program code plugs and find out, well, I'm going to go to Washington State. Now I got to find a whole code plug for DMR for that. No, you don't. And this is popping up because I don't have a SIM in here yet, and I don't have Wi-Fi, but I want to show you something. Look at this right here on the screen. Now, I haven't turned the radio on yet, but right now, without network connected at all, I have no SIM, I have no Wi-Fi, just strictly as a radio. This thing has already pulled up the GPS coordinates of the repeaters that are in my range of my area, or even close to my range. Even if I can't hit them and I'm traveling through that area, they're here. Now look, W4PHA, that's a 6.4 machine here in Wabasa. That thing's, always, that was the staple of ham radio when I was getting licensed and getting, I met everybody there. But look, it tells you, oh, look, KJ4YZI in Vero Beach, 444.350. It's not my repeater, but it's got my call sign on it. Different repeaters here, and that's a DMR radio. So if I wanted to go to the KJ4YZI repeater in Vero Beach, watch this. I'm going to tap this. Okay, it's already got the offset. It's already got the frequency 2 miles away. Now this is going to turn the radio on and load the device, or load the settings. Now the reason I say this is an improvement because sometimes this is the first time I've turned it on since it's rebooted. But look, it's loading it right now. Okay, that seems pretty quick. The older devices, it took like sometimes 45 seconds before it would come on, and that was frustrating. But I send to radio, and look, it's here. There's the frequency, radio ID, the time slot. Now I go up here like this, and I want to change it to, let's say, 91 for worldwide, I guess. Time slot 2, group or private, color code, hit high power, send parameters. Watch. See how fast that was? Sometimes that was just aggravating. I wanted to smash the thing, but they got it fixed. It's a lot better. Now I'm not saying if you get a B1 or a K1 or M1 as trash. I'm saying is though I don't think those are supported or sold anymore. They're really focusing on this. So if you have one of the older ones, you buy it used, you might have some issues with that, which they might not be focusing on too much. So this device here is the most up to date, and this one's going to receive the most support from Bob. No sense of paying $500 for one used, K1 used, when you can spend more and get the one that's current model, up to date, current ROM with the features and warranty and all that stuff. Now when I go up here to database, load DMR user database. Now I don't have cell or Wi-Fi plugged in right this second, so I'll skip this, but I've already done this. There's all your contacts. There's all your database. So when I talk to you on this thing, you're going to see on your end, Eric KJ4YZI, Sebastian, Florida, whatever. It's going to pop it. You don't have to plug it into the computer to do it. It comes over the damn network. I mean, that's great. I like it. So a lot of interesting stuff. Options up here, PTT silent, DMR roaming, admit mode. If you want promiscuous, you turn on promiscuous mode. You could do, a lot of stuff that I even forgot on DMR with this device. And at the end of the day, when you're done, well, you can click on map too. Let's click on map. Now I don't have cellular or data on here, so it's probably not going to load the map. But the map will tell you where those repeaters are on the map. And I wish you know what? It's time. It's time I pop that SIM card in. Yes. No more while I have a blank screen because I have no cellular or Wi-Fi. I'm going to pop that SIM in right now. This phone, it's coming out. How do I sound, John? I know I'm probably echoing here in this room, but what do I sound like on this device, ever?
they're not echoing at all. The audio's top shelf. I don't hear any anomalies, interference, static, pops, anything. It's cutting right through, got a good strong signal on a repeater. Kilo Oscar 4 Alpha Juliet Echo. Back to you.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving late, W4FUN.
Oh, Dennis, where you been, man? I was just talking about you today with Patrick. He said, man, have you talked to him lately? I said, no, I haven't.
Here I am, babe.
Wow, man, it comes full circle. I met you when I was going to AT&T training years ago, talked to you every day in Plantation on Simplex, and I hear you live up here now, huh?
Yes, I do, right here in lovely Vero Beach. I'm loving every minute of it.
Oh, cool, man. Well, KI4LU Yankee says hello. We talked today on the phone, and I guess he's talked to you before. And I said, no, I haven't talked to him, but yeah, I'm actually got the camera rolling, so I'm not. If I go like this, I'm sure the audio is a lot better. But then it's not in camera when I do that, so I got it here on the table. But anyways, it's great to always have somebody here on the analog machine that responds, and this thing sounds spectacular as a phone that is a walkie-talkie as well. Go ahead.
And good evening, John. And I hope you and Lisa had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, but it's just, when you back off that microphone, you just about disappear.
Really interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, that was like 3 feet, like a foot and a half from my mouth. So I'll keep it this way, and I won't hold it, John, Dennis, but and John as well. Thanks for coming back, and good to hear you. We'll talk again. W4FUN and KO4AJE. This is KJ4YZI. I'll be clear and say 7-3.
Yeah, John.
Okay, 73s, Eric. Yeah, it sounded like you had a little bit away, but the audio was really good.
Look.
And as soon as you moved closer,
I can browse the web at the same time.
Like Dennis's signal. Of course, he's got a great signal over there. Yeah, and I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving Day, and hope you didn't overeat. Anyway. Yeah, Dennis, good evening. Good to hear you on.
It's a walkie-talkie and a phone.
Doing well over there.
So let me show you some things here about this B1, all right? Now, me as a user of RFinder in the past, I've seen some of the changes that have happened on this device. I've seen some of the things that came and they went, and some things look similar, and I'm like, well, that was on the one, and then it disappeared, now it came back. There's a reason that they have evolved for this, because you're using this as a phone, okay? And you're also using it as a walkie-talkie or a handheld radio or a handy-talkie. Now, there's things about this that have changed from the past. For instance, you know, the M1, it had a proprietary magnetic connector that simulated a MacBook Apple laptop charger. And it, you know, would fit on their magnetic, but had to get the chargers from them. And then, you know, it wasn't the most friendly on a seat of a car. And now, you know, that was the drop-in charger was an accessory back in the day for one of those, and now an optional upgrade. And now the RFinder B1 fits nicely in a drop-in charger. The drop-in charger can be powered at home with the included 120-volt plug, or it could have the optional accessory for the car charger that plugs into here, so you can use this on the go. But looking at the device here on close, we got rid of the red button up top here. Okay, the red button in the past didn't do much. You have a channel or a volume select knob up here. You have an SMA connector up here. This is an SMA male on the top of the radio and an SMA female antenna. So nothing proprietary there. You can use, you know, any antenna that you want. I actually ordered one that's shorter. It's made by Diamond. It's a little nubby because I use this now, which you're going to see in the future here in the next video or two, with the RFinder quad band dual slot hot chili pepper hotspot. And that was a whole thing. Now I have the DMR radio with the DMR and other mode function hotspot, the hot chili pepper, 2 devices from RFinder. So now Bob has no reason that he can't support my efforts here or my issues, because he makes the hotspot, he makes the radio, and now he can support both of them collectively. So, Bob, you're in trouble. When I got a problem, buddy, I'm going to call you. So, volume knob on the top. He did say that the GPS is mounted up top for a better GPS module mounted up top in clear sight, so that it's got a better lock. So, on the left side here, we have the power button, which in a previous model was the RF or network radio button, but now it's power. And then you have a button up top that's orange. That's for your RF. So that's what I'm going to push, the PTT button, when I'm talking on RF to transmit RF out of the antenna. But then if you look on the other side, on the same side, you have a green button underneath. Now that's cool because you can actually use this as network radio at the same time. Zello, International Radio Network. Again, commercial idea where you could use this across a fleet of commercial operations. We could use this at work. I might tell the boss about this. It would be awesome if everybody had one. You could test your UHF radios with this, keep in communication with others, talk on ham radio, and then you use the network button at the same time, 4215, 275. I mean, you could call, in between network over cellular with an app that's for commercial purposes only, like a Nextel. Remember Nextels? On the front, you have your Android standard buttons. Home button. You have your apps button here to close recent apps, and you have your back button. Now on the right, we have a USB-C. And I know that's a big thing for a lot of people because people have said, well, that's stupid. We got an Android connector that's, back in the times. Okay, I mean, I've heard this all, guys. I've heard everything. USB-C on the side, and it comes with the USB-C cable. Now you can plug into this and download all your images off there. You can do firmware updates, whatever you got to do. But it will not charge over USB-C, but it's got the USB-C for the latest operations, connectivity between a computer or other device, right? This is waterproof, by the way. You also have a connector on the side here. Now this connector was present on previous devices, and you may have seen that on a Motorola device, similar. That is probably for the optional RFinder speaker microphone exclusive for the B1 that you can put this on there. Keep that on your belt clip when you're at HamFest. Have the speaker mic up here on your lapel, and KJ4YZI calling CQ, whatever you want to do. Okay. Now, again, accessories. So before we get into this, on the inside of the phone, let me pull this battery cover off. The battery compartment is, of course, water resistant. Okay. Well, let's look at the back here for a second. Now, this battery here is a 7.6 volt battery or lithium ion, 2,500 milliamp hour batteries. Now, they do sell additional batteries, and I did get an extra one of these myself because I'm going to use this at work for testing radios. I'm also going to use it as a phone. But the battery life on this, let me tell you this. The battery life, so I used it with my Hot Chili Pepper RFinder hotspot, and I used it on low during the course of a day traveling. I didn't have cell on it though. While transmitting during the day, I also used it on RF on high power for a couple times. Then this thing's been sitting in my house for about 4 days now. I've had this for about 2 weeks. 4 days, and leave it on standby. It's just sitting there. I haven't charged it since. I'm still over 50% of battery. Okay, so the standby plus using this thing, you're gonna most likely get a day out of this. Okay, I can't see why you wouldn't. So that's the battery here. Now, on the back of the radio, this is pretty cool here. The back of the radio has the waterproof gasket here with the connectors, but also this now will do more than AT&T. It has the other bands for T-Mobile, for Sprint, and stuff like that. Because back in the day, you had only AT&T, and people were like, man, that sucks. I wish I had something that would work on T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever. The bands are in here. It probably works for a lot of companies now. I'm not exactly sure without reading the specifications online which bands these will do. But check this out. Now, there's a rubber gasket in the back. Now, this thing will actually do 2 SIM cards, okay? And you could actually do 2 SIM cards and a memory card. Not only that, this thing has 64 gigs of memory built in, plus you could put a 128 gigabyte card, micro SD, in there. Just memory for days. And that's another cool thing because my iPhone, I cannot put a memory card in there, and what I have, this is the 64 gigabit or gigabyte model, but 64 gigabytes plus another memory card. And the second slot, from my understanding, the second memory card slot in here is for future, and I'm not sure what yet, but we're not going to talk about that because it hasn't really been discussed yet. So it's none of our, you put 128 gig up to 128 gig in here plus the 64. Man, you got a lot of memory, okay? Plus two SIM cards. So technically, I could take my work SIM, put it in here, my personal SIM, put it in here, have two SIM cards, two numbers at the same time. I mean, I'm eliminating a lot of devices at one time, but then my work phone's gonna be going off and I'm not on call, and I really don't want that happening. So it'll be busting up, blowing up my personal phone. So we're gonna leave that alone and keep using my work phone. But pretty cool stuff here. Now it does have a front camera and a rear camera. The cameras, compared to something like the M1 and the K1, are much higher resolution. I think 8 or 13 megapixels. I can't actually remember, but the specs are online. So other accessories while this thing's booting up, okay? So like I said, the drop-in charger is now standard. You could drop that thing in and charge it. Kind of looks cool on the desk, You're charging it. And see how much faster that booted up? That was pretty quick, because the old one, the M1, took a long time to boot up. So they also have, of course, the belt clip accessory. The belt clip's going to screw on the back. You can put this thing on your belt clip, okay? They have other things, like this is new here. Now, this is a belt loop. You put your belt through here, you mount this on the back of the radio with two screw holes. And as you put this, that goes on the radio, now you're out in the field, 1, 2, 3, you turn it, put it on your belt clip, like this, pull it off, KJ4YZI, it slides on like this, you can turn it, do that. Accessory optional on their website. Also, the car charger, optional accessory, more optional accessories. I like how they have the Nano Sim Adapter, and I like how they put the little pin in here. For my knowledge, iPhone is the only one that you stick the pin in the side, pop the card out for the SD card, and it's almost like Bob's like, yeah, you're going to switch from an iPhone to an Android. But they have the micro SD SIM, because this was another thing. They had the M1 back in the day, and I was like, hey, Bob, my SIM card is different. That one uses the big one, mine uses the small. I had to get another one. Then they come out with the K1. Oh, it's the small one. Oh, that's funny because I got the big adapter. Now I have to cut it. I actually cut my own SIM card back in the day with the notch and everything just to make it fit in that old K1 that I had from RFinder. But then you bump that thing and the SIM would come loose. You had to pop it open. They give you all the options right here in this Nano SIM thing. So make sure you have one of these. And more. So even this is cool. The little RFinder window cling / sticky thing. And what am I going to use this for? I actually had to ask Bob, what's this for? Well, you could actually peel the thing off and stick it on your dashboard, your window, whatever. And I can take my HCP1 RFinder hotspot and stick it onto that. And that could be now on my corner of my windshield, or my little thing on the truck dashboard, or the TV screen, whatever you want to put your damn thing, you could do that, okay? So little accessories that they have. They have a lot of product line now. Back in the day it was, hey, you had this, and oh, cool, we have a charger. So a lot of things have evolved now. You can get all the accessories for this radio. Zello is not a ham radio, okay? Zello is great for if you want to play with friends as toys, but if you want to be a real amateur radio operator and you want to have a phone that is a real radio with this antenna, again, this does not work on Zello unless you have internet or cellular. What happens when the cell goes down? You've seen it in a previous hurricane video. And what made me smash phones on my hurricane video, your phone? What? No. Was because people were saying that they were on Zello, okay, as a walkie-talkie. Guys, I got a walkie-talkie on my phone. No, you don't. You have nothing. You have an app. If you want to get ham radio, you don't necessarily have to have this device. But when you see me talking on this, when everything goes down, the grid goes down with a hurricane, I have an amateur radio license. And you can get that at HamRadioPrep.com to help you out. Use the code ERIC20, one word, you'll get 20% off. I hope to talk to you guys on the air. In the meantime, 7-3, everybody. This is KJ4YZI.
Does ham radio interest you? If so, visit HamRadioPrep.com to begin the journey. The learning begins at HamRadioPrep.com.